Welcome, fellow adventurers, to the wild and often unseen world happening right under our feet. Today we're diving into a story that's stranger than fiction, a real-life creature feature. But first, let's talk about a special kind of relationship in nature: parasitism. A parasite is an organism that lives on or inside another organism, which we call the host. The parasite gets all its food and shelter from the host, but it doesn't give anything good back. It's a completely one-sided deal. Imagine having a roommate who eats all your food, never pays rent, and eventually takes over your entire apartment. That's what a parasite does, and some of them have developed some truly mind-boggling strategies to survive and thrive at their host's expense. Among these incredible creatures is one of my absolute favorites, a true rock star of the parasite world. Its scientific name is Leucochloridium paradoxum, but you can call it the green-banded broodsac. This tiny flatworm is famous for its incredible ability to turn an ordinary snail into a disco zombie. It's a master of disguise and manipulation, a puppeteer pulling the strings of its unsuspecting host. This isn't science fiction, it's a daily drama unfolding in forests and gardens across Europe and North America. The broodsac's goal is simple: get from its snail host into the belly of a bird. To do this, it pulls off one of the most spectacular and frankly creepy transformations in the entire animal kingdom. The process starts in a way you might not expect. The parasite needs to find a very specific type of host to begin its journey. Its target is a small, unassuming snail, usually an amber snail. These snails are just going about their daily lives, munching on vegetation and, believe it or not, bird droppings. To a snail, bird droppings are a nutritious snack packed with things like nitrogen. But for some unlucky snails, that meal comes with a hidden surprise. Hiding inside the droppings are the microscopic eggs of the green-banded broodsac, just waiting for the right host to come along and swallow them. The snail has no idea that its simple meal has just kicked off an incredible and bizarre chain of events. Once those eggs are inside the snail, the real invasion begins. They hatch into tiny larvae that start to grow and multiply. These larvae don't just stay in the snail's stomach, they begin a journey through the snail's body, absorbing nutrients directly from their host. As they grow, they develop into long branching tubes called sporocysts. These tubes are basically living sacs filled with hundreds of baby parasite clones. The sporocysts spread throughout the snail's body, almost like the roots of a plant. They divert energy away from the snail's own needs, especially its ability to reproduce. The snail is no longer living for itself, it has become a living incubator, a factory dedicated to creating the next generation of parasites. The life cycle of the green-banded broodsac is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering, a perfectly timed journey between two very different hosts. It all begins high up in a tree, inside a bird. The adult flatworms live in the bird's digestive system, where they mate and produce thousands of eggs. These eggs are then passed out of the bird in its droppings, which fall to the forest floor below. This is step one of the parasite's grand plan. The eggs are tough and can survive out in the open, patiently waiting for the next character in this drama to arrive on the scene, the unsuspecting amber snail, which we've already met. When a snail eats the droppings, it becomes the parasite's first victim, its intermediate host. Inside the snail's body, the parasite's larvae hatch and begin to develop. They spread out and form the sporocysts, those long, branching sacs. But the most dramatic part of the transformation happens next. These sporocysts don't just stay hidden deep inside the snail, they begin to grow and push their way into one of the most visible parts of the snail's body, its eye stalks. An eye stalk is like a long tentacle with an eye at the tip. The parasite sacs, now called broodsacs, completely fill the eye stalks, stretching the snail's skin so thin that it becomes transparent. Now this is where things get really wild. The broodsacs are not just plain, boring tubes, they are brilliantly colored with bands of green, white, and black, and they pulsate rhythmically, throbbing up to 80 times a minute. They look exactly like juicy, wriggling caterpillars or grubs, a bird's favorite snack. The snail's eye stalks are no longer its own. They have been transformed into a dazzling, irresistible lure for the parasite's final host. The snail is now a walking billboard, advertising a meal that will lead to its own mutilation but ensure the parasite's survival. It's a stunning example of what we call aggressive mimicry. The final piece of the puzzle is getting the attention of a bird. A bird is the parasite's definitive host, the place where it can finally grow into an adult and reproduce. So, when a hungry songbird sees what looks like a delicious, twitching caterpillar on a leaf, it doesn't hesitate. It swoops down and pecks at the snail's pulsating eye stalk, tearing it off and swallowing the broodsac whole. Inside the bird's gut, the hundreds of larval clones are released from the sac. They mature into adult flatworms, attach to the bird's intestinal wall, and start producing eggs. The cycle is now complete, ready to begin all over again. The green-banded broodsac doesn't just give the snail a physical makeover, it performs a complete mind control takeover. Normally, amber snails are cautious creatures. They are nocturnal, meaning they are most active at night when it's dark and safe from predators. During the day, they prefer to stay hidden in damp, shady places, far from the prying eyes of hungry birds. But once the parasite takes over, all of that changes. The broodsac hijacks the snail's brain and forces it to act in ways that are completely against its own survival instincts. It becomes a true zombie, a puppet with the parasite pulling the strings. The parasite forces the infected snail to do the exact opposite of what it should. Instead of hiding, the snail is compelled to climb upwards, moving out of the shadows and into the open. It will crawl to the top of leaves and stems, positioning itself in bright, exposed locations where it is easily seen. This is a suicide mission for the snail, but a brilliant strategy for the parasite. By forcing the snail into the daylight, the parasite makes it much more likely that a bird will spot the colorful, pulsating eye stalks. It's a shocking level of manipulation, turning the host's behavior into a tool for its own transmission to the next host. What's even more incredible is how the parasite times its display. The broodsacs only perform their pulsating light show during the day, which is precisely when the birds that hunt them are active. At night, the pulsing stops. Scientists are still baffled by how the parasite does this. The snail itself is essentially blind, and the parasite has no eyes or light-detecting organs of its own. Yet somehow, it knows when the sun is out. This mysterious ability to sense daylight and activate its hypnotic display at the perfect time makes the broodsac's strategy incredibly effective, ensuring it puts on its show for the right audience. The story for the snail is grim, but also fascinating. If a bird only pecks off the infected eye stalk, the snail can often survive. It can even regenerate its lost tentacle. But the victory is short-lived. The main body of the parasite is still living inside the snail. As soon as the eye stalk grows back, the broodsacs will invade it again, and the whole zombie process starts over. The snail is trapped in a never-ending cycle of regeneration and reinfection, forced to serve its parasitic master until the end. Fortunately for us, this parasite is highly specialized. It cannot infect humans, so you don't have to worry about your own eyes starting to pulsate. The green-banded broodsac may be one of the most spectacular examples of mind control in nature, but it's certainly not the only one. The natural world is full of parasites that have evolved incredible ways to manipulate their hosts. Take, for example, another flatworm that infects fish. This parasite makes the fish swim erratically near the surface of the water, flashing its silvery belly. This strange behavior makes the fish about 30 times more likely to be caught by a water bird, which is the parasite's final destination. It turns the fish into a living, flashing lure. Then there's the notorious cordyceps fungus, which infects ants. When an ant is infected, the fungus grows through its body and into its brain. It forces the ant to leave its colony, climb up a plant stem to a specific height and temperature, and bite down on a leaf with a death grip. The ant then dies, and the fungus sprouts a long stalk from the back of the ant's head, which releases spores to infect more ants below. Each of these parasites has perfected its own unique brand of mind control, all for the sake of survival and reproduction. These stories might sound like something out of a horror movie, but they are a vital part of how ecosystems work. Parasites play a crucial role in controlling populations and moving energy through the food web. They are a powerful force of evolution, driving hosts to develop new defenses and in turn, evolving even more clever ways to overcome them. The relationship between the broodsac, the snail, and the bird is a delicate dance that has been perfected over millions of years. It's a testament to the incredible and often ruthless creativity of nature. So, the next time you're out for a walk in the woods, take a closer look at the little creatures around you. You might just be witnessing a hidden drama of epic proportions. The story of the Disco Zombie Snail reminds us that nature is full of surprises, and that even the smallest organisms can have the most astonishing survival strategies. It proves that the real world is often far stranger, more complex, and more wonderfully weird than anything we could ever imagine. And that for me is what makes exploring our planet so endlessly exciting. Keep adventuring.